Hello, everybody. Welcome to Something to Talk About, and I'm doing it again. Back by very popular request is my Let's Talk About the Difference. So we're doing it. Let's go. Hi, welcome. Still wearing my headphones to Something to Talk About. My name is Taco, and it's been a while since I've done a Let's Talk About the Difference. So this is my show where I taken a Song of Ice and Fire character and compared him to his show counterpart. This is kind of an excuse for me to cover a Song of Ice and Fire characters who were on the show because I try not to, but this is the time I can. Then at the end, I'll kind of say their biggest differences. So I've done this before. I've done it with Dagmar Cleftjaw, with the Great John. I compared Talisa Mager with Jane Westerling. And we're back. And I did a poll. I did a poll with the four characters that I wanted to cover, and I just wanted to see which ones were gonna be where. And Gren won. So here you guys go, man. Gren. So yeah, let's talk about the difference between the book Gren and the show Gren. I'm just gonna continue covering those four characters, but I think I'll just do them in the order of that poll. So maybe I'll do another poll eventually if I add more in, but as of right now, Gren is the winner. So thank you guys for voting in that poll. Let's just jump into it. And we'll talk about the show version of Gren first. So I didn't want to make a huge slide covering the show. I did that with my first guy I covered with Dagmar Cleftjaw. I said everything that he did in the show. But yeah, we should streamline it. I'm shoving it all down into one, so I'm not covering every single scene that Gren was in the show, just kind of like important stuff. And I shoved it all into one slide. And then after that, I'm going to move on as if this is a normal character video, and I'm going to cover the book. And then at the end, I'm going to talk about the big major differences and how I feel about them. So yeah, let's just go. The show, We Hold the Gate. That's what I named it. Y'all remember Gren? In the television adaptation of Game of Thrones, he is played by Mark Stanley. Hey, same first name as me. My name's not actually Taco, believe it or not. I'm Mark. Gren is a new recruit in the Night's Watch. He is strong but slow-witted. Gren's father abandoned him, leaving him outside of a farmhouse when he was only 3 years old. That's rough. Gren, Rast, and Pip are directed by the Master of Arms, Sir Alistair Thorne, to test Jon Snow's skills in combat. Jon breaks Gren's nose in that fight. They all gang up on him afterwards, and Tyrion scares them away. Tyrion does, okay. Gren agrees to Jon's plan to go easy on the new recruit, Sam Tarly. And we all remember how that kind of goes. Rast doesn't want to, and then eventually they all threaten Rast, and then finally they take it easy on Sam. He is around during the Great Ranging and the fight at the Fist, so I'm skipping over a lot. These are I just like 2 seasons right there. He survives the mutiny at Craster's Keep. Gren joins Jon's expedition to capture and kill all the mutineers at Craster's Keep. Gren is at the top of the wall when the battle for the wall begins. While loading the ramps, a barrel filled with oil falls. Gren accidentally drops one off the wall. There you go. I'm sure that's just so we can see what happens when they land. So they just need a character who's dumb to drop one, and hey, they picked one. Later, 2 giants and a mammoth attempt to break through the gate. Jon orders Gren to take 5 men and to defend the inner gate. Gren chooses Downhill, Cooper, and 3 other brothers. Arriving at the inner gate, they watch a giant Meg Mar Tun Du Weg, great name, managing to push the outer gate up to pass. Then successfully they kill the giant and hold the gate. But all of the Black brothers are slain in the process, including Gren. Their bodies are discovered by Jon and Sam after the battle, and Jon kneels down and closes Gren's eyes. So that was his whole thing in the show. Like I said, I wasn't covering it, but that's, you guys remember Gren. Y'all remember Gren, right? That's what happens. So now let's flip over to the book, and we'll proceed as if this is just a normal character lore video I got. So, the book, Aurochs. Gren is a recruit from the Night's Watch and a friend of Jon Snow. He is given a nickname is Aurochs by Sir Alistair Thorne. Gren is thick of neck. He is a head taller than Jon Snow at the age of 16. Jon's original impression of Gren is that he is slow and clumsy. Even his friends in the Night's Watch often mock him for his looks and for not being the smartest. We eventually learn that he has a big heart. He does have a big heart. I love Gren. All right, so my next is my Night's Watch slide. It's pink because I originally made it for satin when I covered satin probably a year ago, but I don't care. I love that I have a pink one for the Night's Watch, and I never made a new one because I find it funny. So here you guys go. The Night's Watch. The Night's Watch is a military order dedicated to holding the wall, an immense fortification on the north border of the Seven Kingdoms, defending the realms of men from what lies beyond the wall, mostly Snarks and Grumpkins. The order's foundation dates to the Age of Heroes, at the time where the others were pushed back. Maybe, sure, who knows? It was a long time ago. The men of the Night's Watch wear only black, and they are known as the Black Brothers. Recruits who join the Watch are said to have taken the black. So there you guys go. So let's get back into Gren. So this is right when he shows up in the books. So a new recruit. Gren is one of the new recruits when Jon Snow comes to join the Night's Watch. They are trained by Sir Alistair Thorne, with Alistair ridiculing Gren as Aurochs, which is like a giant bull, right? Due to him being big and dumb. While training with blunted swords, Jon defeats Gren and causes an injury to his hand. Gren declares that the bastard broke my wrist. Later in the sleeping cells, Gren, Toddler, and two other recruits confront the younger Jon, but Donald Noy prevents further violence and reminds Jon of the advantages of his upbringing. A great scene, one of my favorites. That's why I talked about Donald Noy before. I love Donald Noy. After he has received news of his brother Bran has awoken from his coma, Jon is peacemaking towards Gren. He's trying to be nice, offering to teach him how to defend against the move that caused his injury. So Jon was fighting against him, right? And he smashed his wrist and broke it. And then later he felt bad and he's trying to olive branch, right? And he goes, hey, dude, you want me to show you how to protect that? And Gren's like, okay. And he does. It's kind of cool. Gren trains with Jon Snow, and his sword fighting soon improves, now able to hold his own against more adept recruits such as Halder. As a result, Pip also asks Jon for help. So yeah, Jon starts to use his kind of privileged upbringing, even though he was a bastard, but he had privileged upbringing because he was still trained by, like Roderick Cassell and stuff like that. And he starts teaching Gren, and then later he kind of starts teaching everybody, like Pip, all these other guys who are lowborn, who never had those kind of advantages. And it's really cool early book development for Jon. You gotta love it. All right. A new ranger. After Samwell motherfucking Tarley arrives at the wall, Alistair picks on him, commanding Halder, Rast, and Albert to fight the inept youth. Gren, Jon, and Pip soon defend him. However, because Rast is still willing to hurt Sam for Alistair, he is visited by Gren, Jon, and Pip, and is threatened by Jon's direwolf's wolf ghost. There we go. Sam joins Gren and Jon, Pip, and Halder during the meals and eventually shares in their jest. So they all become friends, right? Like Sam is friends with Jon and Gren and Pip and Halder. They all kind of become friends. When a new group of recruits heads to Castle Black, Alistair names eight of the novices ready to join the Night's Watch. When more comes in, 8 of the novices can then join. Gren celebrates with wine. Gren is happy to be assigned to the Rangers, while Jon is assigned to the Stewards. So, yeah, again, this is kind of like a big moment for Jon's, like one of the most important moments in John's story is when he gets named to the stewards instead of the Rangers. But I do like that Gren still gets there, even though he didn't like grow up trained really well. Like a lot of the Rangers are like knights, and he's not, but it's really cool that he gets that. And most of it was actually, ironically, he gets named as a knight, most likely because John trained him too. Like he is, he's a better fighter now. So yeah. Let's get back to that one. Following the arrest of Lord Eddard Stark as traitor, Gren is among those who lend support to John, telling him that the accusations are lies. He and others stop John from attacking Alistair with a knife when Alistair calls John not only a bastard, but a traitor's bastard. Whew. Gren is among the group of friends that stopped John from abandoning the wall and forswearing himself following the execution of his father, the King's in King's Landing. When John declares he needs to be with his brother Rob, Gren says that those of the Night's Watch are his brothers now. Like, we're your brothers, dude. He goes on explaining that while everyone is sorry about Lord Eddard's fate, John cannot go back once he has made the vow. Yeah, like Ned himself has executed a Night's Watchman for leaving the wall. So John can't. And a lot of that slide was not only Gren becoming a ranger, but a lot of that slide is he's part of the support system that keeps John in line in these early books when like his dad gets taken captive. Well, not as you guys know, Ned is most likely not his biological dad, but it's his dad, right? And he prevents him from making these mistakes when he's taken captive and later killed. And and he also comforts him when things happen to Bran. So Gren is becoming really close and actually becoming like a good emotional support friend for John, which is fantastic. We all need those people. Not even a joke. I'm saying we all need emotional support friends. All right. The Great Ranging. Gren participates in the Great Ranging led by Lord Commander Mormont. Before it starts, Gren joins other boys who all go to Molestown for drinking and whoring. Yeah, we're not supposed to bang in the Night's Watch. Well, we all know we break that rule. So before the main ranging, everyone's like, well, let's all get drunk and leave before we leave. So Gren goes and joins that. I almost took that out, but I kept it in. All right. It didn't seem super important to his character, but whatever. During the ranging, Gren serves as an outrider and is usually paired with Dywyn. Oh, I love Dywyn. Dywyn, a gnarled veteran ranger with large wooden teeth. He takes on a mentor role, clouding Gren in the ear, and advising the young ranger, which is really cool. When the group approaches Craster's Keep, Dywyn tells Gren that Craster was born of a wildling woman and a ranger. Dywyn warns John and others not to look after Craster's wives. Gren later challenges Dywyn's weird boast that he slept with 3 of Craster's daughters during the night. Yeah, weird boast there, Dywyn. We all know it's not true. Explaining that he would have noticed. All right. When the Rangers get to the Fist of the First Men, Dywyn declares that there is a strange smell, explaining to Gren that the smell is cold. So yeah, it smells cold. John makes daggers from a stash of dragon glass he has found at the Fist, keeping one for himself and giving others to Gren, Sam, and Lord Commander Mormont. Gren also takes dragon glass arrowheads from the cache. So yeah, it's pretty sweet. All that was about the Great Ranging, right? So they go to Craster's Keep and then they make their way over to the Fist of the First Men. And Gren gets this cool mentor relationship with Dywyn, who's like this old dude with these big, don't fit well teeth made of oak. I should probably cover Dywyn. And And yeah, so he's developing even more, right? Like Gren might have just been this dumb, strong as a bull guy when he started, but he gets more lessons from John and then later gets schooled by like a mentor, like an old ranger. And it's actually kind of grooming Gren to be a pretty decent ranger, which is really sweet. All right. The other. Gren survives the fight at the fist where the Night's Watch is attacked by whites. Gren and the amazing Small Paul. I got a video for Small Paul. Go check it out. All right. I don't know why I sung that. Encouraging the dispirited Samuel Tarly during the retreat south. This is one of my favorite scenes in the entire books. It's sweet. The simple giant Small Paul and Gren trying to make Sam less afraid. This scene is delightful and it ends horribly. And I talked about it during my Small Paul video, but it's Small Paul and Gren just like trying to lift Sam's spirits as he's like walking down south. I love it when they're leaving the fist. Like they just saw these horrible things, and Gren's like, "Cheer up, we're alive." So we're trying to cheer him up. Yeah. So yeah, in attempts of trying to cheer him up, Gren begins to sing "The Bear and the Maiden Fair." Oh, until a freaking other shows up on an undead horse and kills my man Small Polly in a blind panic. Sam slays the other by stabbing it with the dragon glass dagger given to him by John. The dagger causes the other to shrink and puddle, dissolving away in 20 heartbeats. Only the dagger remains, writhing in steam. Gren goes to scoop it up, but the dragon glass must fling it down again because it is extremely cold. Ouch. Afterward, Gren calls him Sam the Slayer. So he witnesses the slaying of an other in the book. So, yeah, in the show, they call him Sam the Slayer, but Gren doesn't mean it as a joke. When he calls Sam the Slayer, he's like, "You slayed another." And everyone else is like, "Okay, Slayer." And he goes, "Bro's a Slayer." Like, Gren doesn't make fun of him for that because he knows it's true. Super cool. All right, battle beneath the wall. Gren is among those who make it back to Craster's Keep. And when some of the men of the Night's Watch mutiny, Gren flees with others after the death of Lord Commander Mormont. Once back at Castle Black, Gren helps villagers from Molestown seek shelter. When John returns to the wall, he notes that Gren has changed a lot since they first met. Good old Aurochs, he has grown like half a foot taller. His chest and shoulders have thickened, and he has not cut his shaggy hair or beard since they left the fist. So he's kind of getting a nice beard going. During the battle beneath the wall, Gren rolls barrels of oil and crushed stone down off the wall, attacking the wildlings. John leaves the command of the wall to Gren when they descend the castle. That's the whole battle beneath the wall. You see that I skipped something here because I have a whole other slide. You're starting to see the differences. There's a few. All right, so at the wall. So this is kind of like the last two books and kind of the end of it's the end of Storm of Swords and also like the rest of Feast for Crows and they're in Dance of Dragons. There really isn't too much, but yeah, this is I'm going to move through a lot of information at once. So Gren greets Sam warmly when he returns to Castle Black, grinning and hugging him so hard that he thinks his ribs might break. In a conversation with Pip and Gren, Sam starts to think he should convince one of the candidates in the Night's Watch election to withdraw their support, to support the other. When Jon Snow is elected the new Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, Gren is among those who congratulate him. Of course, Gren loves him. Gren complains that Jon has not been the same since being chosen new Lord Commander. Well, yeah, he's Lord Commander now. Gren is seen sitting with Pip and the rest of the common room. They invite John to sit with them, but he refuses. The Lord Commander assigns Gren to Eastwatch by the Sea. So yeah, we'll see what's going on with Gren. Gren's still alive. There's a major difference there, right? He doesn't die fighting Meg the Mighty. So Gren's still alive. His relationship seems to have faltered by John. We don't know if he is one of the mutineers. We don't know if he's one of the For the Watch guys who stab. He starts to kind of feel resentment from John because John's not really hanging out with him anymore. But I don't think that means that he's part of the guys who stab. But he doesn't say that he is. It just says that he starts to be like, Jon Snow's changed. Of course he changed. He became Lord Commander. So we don't know if he's actually one of the stabbers. I sure hope not. All right. Major differences. So small differences at first. Many are due to the omission of Donal Noye. Those where a lot of the differences come from. John breaks his nose in the show and not his hand like in the book. When they go to jump Jon Snow, it's Donal that scares him off, but in the show, it's Tyrion. Small differences during the protecting Sam parts. So by that, I mean, there's just a little bit of difference there. It's like who is the ones who are bullying him and who are not bullying him. I can't remember, but yeah, like Gren is told to do it and he refuses to in the show. And then in the books, it's not Gren who's supposed to pick on Sam. He just prevents it, right? So little differences. I'm moving past them. Gren is not present. Oh, yeah. Small differences. Yeah. Later, after the fists, Gren is not present when Samwell fights a White Walker. So that means that no amazing small Paul and Gren singing the cheer Sam up scene. What we get instead is Gren and Ed are leaving Sam behind before coming back. Well, actually, Rast leaves him behind and they come back to get him. So there's this whole scene. I went back and watched this episode where Sam feels like they left him at the First Men. And then he finally gets caught up, and Rast has to be with him because they ditched him at the Fist of First. But now they're all walking to Craster's, and Rast ditches him again, and Sam kind of like starts to give up. And then Ed and Gren come back to talk to Sam. So instead we get this scene for them coming back and Gren shooting Ed a look when Ed tells Sam he is fat and slow. So we don't really get him like fully sticking up for Sam, like fighting a White Walker or whatever. But what we do get is a little bit of development when Ed is like, yeah, we did leave you because you're fat and slow. And Gren's like, can you not say that to him? And you see Ed like kind of back off a little bit. So even though they were all afraid at the Fist of the First Men, they kind of deserted him. You can see that Gren feels bad about it. So almost the same. It's close. Many small changes, but nothing too huge. I didn't write it here, but of course, the whole them going back up to retake Craster's Keep and clearing it of the mutineers, that is not a thing in the books. So Gren doesn't help John go and retake Craster's Keep because they don't in the books. So Gren isn't part of that. So that's another major difference. So of course the biggest one, right? Until you get to the part that they give Donal Noye, they give him Donal Noye's amazing death to Gren. And that's fine. So Donal Noye, the blacksmith, is the one who actually dies fighting a giant in the tunnel underneath the wall, but they give it to Gren. And I'll explain why that doesn't bug me. Of course, I wish that Donal Noye was in the show because I love Donal Noye. So don't get me wrong. I'd rather it have been Donal Noye because I wish that he was actually in the show. But this is why it doesn't super bug me. It's because that's an amazing scene, right? So they didn't, so they gave him, and that's fine since Gren kind of fades to the background after the battle beneath the wall in the book. So you might as well kill him off there. And I like Gren, so give him Donald's end. Like Donald fighting a giant is kind of way too cool to leave out. So you might as well give it to a character that is kind of expendable. I'm not calling Gren, like I just call Gren expendable, but we don't really know what else he does after that, right? He's, like I said, he's like kind of around in the background. He votes for John. He congratulates John. Then he kind of feels like John doesn't really like him. In all those books, there isn't really too much for him. So giving him the really cool ending that Donald Noe got, and giving that like really memorable scene to somebody, you might as well give it to Gren. So that's it. Those are kind of the major differences. Thank you guys for watching. I know this is gonna kind of be a longer one, 25 minutes. Thank you. What do you think? Who do you want me to cover? I don't want them to be POV characters. I still will not cover POV characters. So if you have a character from the show that you want me to compare their book counterpart, as long as it's not a point of view character, I'm down. I'm completely down. Let me know who it is. On the docket are Lyman Beesbury, and then I'm going to cover Rorge and Biter all in one. And who's the fourth? This is embarrassing. I was literally just looking. I can find out right now really quick. Oh no, scrolling down. Sorry, this is really bad TV. Rattleshirt. Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to cover Rattleshirt. So it's probably going to be Lyman next, then Rorge and Biter, and then Rattleshirt. If you guys have anybody you want me to put on this list, let me know. So yeah, thank you for watching. Click like, subscribe, and yeah, don't fight giants. Peace.